Hey, how y'all doing? I am Miss Flowers, and this is part two, or video two, of the web series, The Silent Killer, putting an end to hypertension and heart disease. If you're watching live, put in the comments live. If you're watching on the replay, put in the comments replay. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I think everything is okay. I was supposed to go live on TikTok, but that didn't happen. So today we're going to talk about how heart disease affects your other organs, um, the issues people are facing today with heart disease, the main role the heart plays, and risk factors associated with heart disease and the statistics. You know, got to give y'all some statistics. And it's about 80 degrees right now, and I am burning up. So let's get started on common heart health issues people face today. Coronary artery disease, that is narrow or blocked vessels. So when those vessels are blocked, your heart is not pumping the way it should be. It's doing a whole bunch of work. The blood is not going through like it should be going through. I don't know why Instagram has me looking so shiny, because I'm really not that shiny, but whatever. And then we got hypertension, and that is forcing the blood against the artery walls, and it's too high, and that leads to heart disease and stroke. Then we got arrhythmias, and that's abnormal heartbeats. It's either beating too fast, or it's beating too slow, or it's just an irregular heartbeat. We got heart failure. The heart is not pumping blood effectively. The heart valve disease is problem with the valves that regulate the blood flow. So if those valves aren't moving the way they're supposed to be moving, that's another common heart issue. And then we have stroke, and I know someone, they were telling me that they had at least 5 strokes, and I was just shocked at how many strokes. But strokes affect the heart, but they also affect the brain. And then we got the coronary arteries, and that plaque builds up. When that plaque builds up, it's almost like trying to drink a milkshake through a straw, your artery, but you can't get it through because it's so thick. So when your arteries get all that plaque and all that buildup in there, the blood is trying its best to get through, but it can't really get through like it's supposed to get through because it's so backed up with plaque and buildup. Those are just a few of the common heart issues people are facing today. And then we have the other organs that the heart disease affects, because it's not just affecting your heart, because your heart is basically the main character. Your heart is the main character. Your heart is taking care of everybody else. So it affects your brain, and that's how people have strokes and people have neurological disorders, because some people have strokes and then one side of their body isn't functioning the way that it used to function because they had a stroke from a heart disease. So it doesn't just affect your heart, it also affects your brain, your kidneys. It reduces the flow of blood to your kidneys. Then you can go into kidney failure. So when you go into kidney failure, now you have kidney damage, kidney failure, because your heart isn't pumping out the blood, because your heart's main role is to pump the blood. So if it's not pumping the blood the correct way, your organs are not getting the blood that it needs. And then we have the lungs, and the lungs and the heart play they're like a tag team, really, because if you have hypertension or congestive heart failure, it's going to affect your breathing. You're going to have some kind of breathing problem because that your heart is not being able to give the lungs what it needs. So your lungs is not getting the oxygen, the blood from the oxygen that your heart is pumping out. Your lungs is not getting it because you have heart issues. And then your liver is not going to function correctly, again, because your heart is not functioning correctly. So your liver regulates and and puts out nutrients, and then your heart takes all that stuff back in and puts it back out to all the other organs. But like I said, if your heart is not functioning right, the liver is not functioning right. And then last but not least, your genitals. Sometimes some people can't get it up because they don't have enough heart. Their heart is not pumping enough for them to get it up. And then some people have vaginal dryness. And I have people come to me and they're like, oh, yeah, they got erectile dysfunction or they got vaginal dryness. And I'm like, and what else? Oh, no, that's my only problem. That's my only problem. And what else? That is not the only problem. So most of the time when they're telling me that, I know they have a heart issue. I try to let them tell me that they have a heart issue, but a lot of times people are more concerned about getting it on than fixing the main issue, which is their heart. Because once you fix that issue, then you're going to be able to do the things that you want to do. So, like I said, the heart's main role is to circulate the blood throughout the body. So if your heart is a muscle, if your heart is not pumping like it's supposed to be pumping, it's not circulating the blood or delivering oxygen, nutrients, even hormones and other essential substances to the body cells and organs. It also helps remove waste. So your body's not doing what it's supposed to. Your heart is not doing what it's supposed to do. The rest of your body can't do what it's supposed to do. Like I said, the nutrients and the vitamins are absorbed through your food, through the digestive system. The liver processes it. The heart circulates the oxygen and carrying the nutrients through the arteries. So your heart is taking all this stuff and trying to, I guess you could say, it's mixing all this stuff and it's trying to get it back out where it belongs. But it can't do that when you have heart issues, when your heart is not working correctly. So some of the risk factors associated with heart disease are high blood pressure, which a lot of people have high blood pressure. And I know someone that is on, I think they're on 3 pills for high blood pressure. And I'm like, why don't they just tell you what you need to do to get your blood pressure to go down instead of keep putting you on these pills? Now, I think 3 prescriptions for one thing, this is just me, that's a bit much. Then we have high cholesterol. High cholesterol is artery blocking plaque. Then it raises your heart. Raises, I can't talk. Raises your heart disease risk. Smoking. I don't smoke. Okay, this is the thing with smoking. People smoke. They have heart issues. Then they have asthma or some kind of breathing issue, but they're smoking with all these issues. So smoking, that's damaging your blood. That's damaging your blood vessels. There's no other way to put that. It's damaging your blood vessels. Obesity and overweight. I know a lot of people with heart issues that are in denial about their weight. And if you're 5'2" and you're 250, you have heart issues, your body is overworking itself because now it got to pull all this extra weight. And I've heard people say that their doctor told them, if you lose weight and do this and do that, not giving them pills, telling them to lose weight and eat better, that their heart issue will be better, but they don't do it. So some doctors, they have no choice but to put you on a medicine to help your heart function the way that it should function, when in reality, you can just lose weight. And then diabetes and heart disease is kind of linked. Most of the people that I work with, a lot of them have diabetes or they're borderline diabetes and they have high blood pressure. So everything is affected. Everything is connected. Unhealthy diet, sometimes family history, your age. They say gender, but women are dying from heart disease as well. Stress. A lot of people, they eat all right, they move their body, but they're so stressed out, they worried about everything. You're basically worrying yourself to, and nobody is taking the time out to say, well, my heart issue is from stressing out too much. I'm worried about too much. To the point where some people are so stressed out, they're making up stories that didn't even happen. They're making it up in their head. And they're like, well, what if this happened? What if that happens? And it's just like, you're worried and stressed out about something that didn't happen. And then the things that do happen, they're worried and stressed out about that. So it's kind of, like I said, you're worrying yourself. I can't say certain words on YouTube. They'll flag my video. And then we have sleep disorders, which if you're overweight, most people have sleep apnea. Most people stay up too late. They don't go to bed. They're up late. And then we have like your unhealthy diet. Let me go back to that. Your unhealthy diet. You have a lot of people that's just kind of piling the salt on. Let me give you an example. A baked macaroni and cheese is a staple in the African American community. They put butter, salt, cheese, seasoning salt. That's just salt. It's all salt. Like cheese is salty, butter is salty. So you take this one thing, you put all this salt in this one meal, not even a meal, side. You put all this salt in it. You take some greens and you put whatever kind of pork, fat back, whatever kind of pork you're putting in there. A lot of cheese, a whole lot of cheese, yeah. And that's pork is the most salty thing you can eat. Everybody knows that. It does taste good, but it's not. It's just not good for you. I don't know. They, I can go into that, but I'm not gonna go into that. Why it tastes so good. But and then you have whatever your meat is, and you season that with all kinds of seasoned salts or seasoning salts, however you want to say it. So you're just eating salt on top of salt, and then it's like, well, it don't taste good if you don't put this on there, but you're dying. So it's kind of like, oh, I wasn't supposed to say that word. So it's kind of like you can only say so much to certain people and explain to them like you eat too much salt throughout the day. Like I know people that eat a whole bag of Lay's potato chips. Lay's potato chips are the saltiest chips you can eat. I don't care what anybody says. I love Lay's potato chips. Those were my favorite, but they are the saltiest chips that you can eat. And nobody's eating what I think the recommendation is 15 chips. Nobody's eating 15 chips. Even when I do eat chips, I'm not eating 15 chips or whatever it is, or it might be less than that. Nobody's eating 4 or 5 chips. Salt and bad oil, definitely. The canola oil, the soybean oil, I think peanut oil is now on the list. The vegetable oil, those are all definitely oils you shouldn't be using. If you don't have to use oil, just don't use oil. I'm trying to get to the point now where I don't use oil. You usually use grapeseed oil or avocado oil, but now there's like this some kind of thing with grapeseed oil now. So I'm trying to get to the point where I just don't use oil at this point because everything is bad. But I know for me, grapeseed oil and avocado oil were the best oils, and they weren't as I don't know oils. If I if something is cooked in vegetable oil or corn oil or some kind of different oil besides grapeseed oil or avocado oil, I can tell the difference. It tastes weird. And then we have alcohol abuse. Alcohol raises your blood pressure. And I know for sure some people they drink and they act a fool, they want to fight. So if you already got heart issues and then you're drinking alcohol and then you acting up, your blood pressure is sky high. And people are drinking every day. Even if it's just, oh, I'm just gonna have a glass. People are drinking every day. And it's kind of like now you're drinking every day and you got heart issues. So here are some statistics heart disease in women. Heart disease, 1 in 3 female deaths each year. So that's 1 in 3 female deaths each year. Women have a higher risk of dying from heart disease compared a heart attack compared to men. As women, we're taking care of everybody else, doing things for everybody else, and not taking care of ourselves. I know so many women that, and even myself, if something's going on with the family, you're going to take care of the family first. You're going to put yourself last, but we have to stop doing that. And the symptoms in women are not the same as they are in men. So women will have chest discomfort, but it'll be like a chest pain, a tightness, or a discomfort. It can go from intense to crushing pain. It's more like a pressure or a squeezing, shortness of breath, fatigue, upper body discomfort. Sometimes your jaw can lock. You have pain in your shoulder or your arm, nausea and sweating, lightheadedness and dizziness. Hey, Aku. And the crazy thing is, a lot of women will ignore those symptoms and just brush it off as, I'm just tired. Because as the mom, as the wife, as the girlfriend, as, the nurturer of the family, you're doing stuff. So you're just like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm gonna just go on and I'm gonna go lay down. I'll go lay down later. Then you never go lay down. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that later, and it never gets done. You never go lay down. You never rest, and then your body has to make you rest. And that's what I tell people all the time. I'm not saying you gotta take a week off and sleep the whole week, but if you don't rest, your body is going to make you rest sooner or later. So you have to find that balance where you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your family, and you're making sure that you're okay. Because if you're not okay, who's taking care of them kids? Who's taking care of your family? So women have a lot of different symptoms going on than the men. And the men, heart disease is the leading cause of death in men in the United States, about 1 in every 4 males. So for the women is 1 in 3, the guys is 1 in 4. They get chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, irregular heartbeat, dizziness or fainting, indigestion. They have digestive issues. So they probably think, oh, I'm not feeling well right now. My stomach hurts. I'm just going to go lay down. I ate something that I shouldn't have ate. And that's a sign of heart disease. But they're not, because I know some guys will not go to the doctor to save their lives. And then when it gets so bad, then it's like, okay, now I'm going to go. And now it's so bad. And they're like, well, what am I going to do now? And it's just like, could have went when it first started happening. Because I think a lot of times everybody ignores symptoms, not just of heart disease, but certain things that are going on in their body because they don't want to be told that something is wrong, or they don't want to be told that, you have this, and that. But at the end of the day, you need to know what's going on in your body so you know how to fix it. And that's another reason why I'm doing this webinar series, because a lot of people I know have heart disease. They have some kind of hypertension or high cholesterol. And it's just like, what are we going to do about it? We're going to just sit around and just pop pills all day? Or are we going to actually do something about it? Because I know when I first did the webinar last month, it was like every time I turned around, somebody was saying something. There was some kind of issue. One person was saying that whatever medication that she was on, it was thinning her blood. She kept having bruises. Her period was heavy. And it was just like, I went through the pamphlet and I'm reading all the stuff and I'm just like, you got more side effects going on than you got symptoms of the issue that you're having. So it's at this point, if you want the help, then I'm here. But something got to give. And then a couple of days later, someone was telling me about how they were having all these strokes. They had 4 or 5 strokes. And I'm just like, what is going on? Pills don't work. So it kind of got to the point where it was just like, okay, because I wanted to do a webinar on something else. And then another person came to me and they were like, their friend was put on her high blood pressure pills because her mother was on her mother has high blood pressure. And I'm like, well, does she have high blood pressure? And that wasn't the first time that I heard of someone um, being put on pills because of their parents having something. And it was just like, right. So it kind of it's kind of to the point now where are you going to take things into your own hand? Are you going to take help outside of what you've been told? Because I don't know. It's just it's too much at this point. Even with my own mother, my mother passed of breast cancer. My mother was 63. She was 63. She was on two two pills for her blood pressure. She for some reason now go back a little bit like when I first went vegan and started with the herbs and all that stuff, I was helping her and like her cancer, the spots where she had spots at, they were starting to clear up when she was starting to do the things that I was telling her to do. She decided that she didn't want to do that stuff anymore because she really mainly she didn't want to eat the way I was telling her to eat. Yeah, real young. So she didn't want to eat the way that I was telling her to eat. Fine. But she had some kind of issue with being on those pills for high blood pressure. Blood pressure. She had some kind of issue with that, and I don't know what the issue was. And she was like, "I'm not taking these pills." And at that point, I was like, "Well, what are you gonna do? Because you're not gonna change the way you're eating." So I got her to take something that my the herbalist that I study under, I got her to take something, and her blood pressure went down. So I'm saying to her, if I can give you this and we could do certain things for your high blood pressure, like why not for nothing else? And she was like, I don't want to be on high blood pressure pills. They make me dizzy. So then I was just like, okay. Like so she didn't want to be on those pills because they made her dizzy. So there is help. I can help you, but you gotta want to help yourself first. And I'm not saying, you don't listen to your doctor and stuff like that. But if your spirit feels like something not right, then you definitely need to listen to your spirit. Because at this point, and you need to listen to your body because your body is telling you. People, they always pretend like, oh, I didn't know. Your body is telling you, you just ignored it because your body does give off signals. Your body does tell you what's going on. And yeah, you can ignore it, but sooner or later it's going to catch up with you. It always does. So when you start changing things and doing the things that you know that you should do, and if you don't know, that's why I'm here. Lifestyle change is key. If you if you really want the help, then keep watching this webinar. Next week, not next week, the 7th, I'm gonna talk about some strategies that we can use to combat heart disease. So I'll see you guys on Friday. I think the 7th is Friday. So I'll see y'all on Friday.